Hi, folks. I'm Carson Brown, and this is Tom Burns.
Hey, everyone.
Tom and I run the mobile Shopify team building our store management app. Our talk today is all about bringing your web apps to our merchants on mobile. I'm going to tell you about why Shopify is investing in mobile, what we've done since last Unite, and where we're going. Tom will show you exactly how apps will work in the native app and how you can build the best experience. We'll take some questions at the end of the talk, too. You can write them in the conference app, or you can upvote other questions that you'd like asked. Use the room code SFO for any of your questions. So why is mobile important? Well, as you saw in Lindsay's talk in the morning, our merchants are moving to mobile. They expect more than just the small or the easy tasks. In fact, they need their entire job to be done from phones. Mobile is crucial, and our merchants are moving there. If we don't move too, they'll go without us. But the good news is that at Shopify, we've been preparing for this move for years. Back in 2015, we looked at what we had on mobile, and we realized that there was a problem. We had a companion app where only some of the actions a merchant might need were available. Things like filling orders or adding products. But merchants couldn't start, build, or run successful businesses from their phones. Toby drove this point home in a critical email to the entire team. There was no way to sugarcoat it. Shopify did not get mobile yet. And so we started a new project to build a mobile app enabling merchants to run their businesses entirely from their phones. We aren't super good at code names on our team, so we called it Mobile Shopify. But to our merchants, it's just more Shopify. Regardless of device, merchants expect all of the functionality they need to be present. They might not even have a computer. We've solidified this prediction into a bit of a mantra. Owning a PC will be a novelty, and needing one will be a deal breaker. And so we started building a platform around the fundamentals of managing a Shopify store, including things like Shopify Home, order management, inventory control, merchandising, and growing your business. Let me introduce our app in case you haven't seen it. Home is the nerve center of Shopify. From sales performance and visitor metrics to dynamic insights in what we call home cards, this is where we surface important information. Insights that start in a home card can feed directly into Shopify reports. Next is the Orders tab. Beyond the usual payment capture and fulfillment, this is also where Timeline is used to collaborate with staff members. Timeline on mobile is actually a really natural way to talk to your coworkers. You can ping them on an order, and they'll get a push notification to respond. Here's the Products tab. In a simple flow, merchants can take pictures for a new product, set the price, give it a description, and go live. But merchandising is a bigger feature than many realize. From here, you can edit existing products right down to scanning the barcode with your camera. Or you could launch a new promotion on the spot, update the inventory on hand, publish to new sales channels, or refresh your product descriptions. Our last tab is called Store. From here, merchants can browse reports, review customers, or dig into sales channels and settings. None of that was here in the mobile app before, and we're constantly adding new features. One of those brand new features is Sign Up. Merchants can start their Shopify business right here in the app. To these merchants, they haven't seen a desktop Shopify, and to them, the mobile app is Shopify. A strong mobile offering means consistency across iOS and Android, and so the entire app is here on Android too. Keeping both at parity is really important to us, and so every feature we ship is released together on both platforms. And so in September of 2016, we launched. And since then, we've nearly doubled in monthly usage. Mobile is now the fastest growing merchant interface at Shopify, and we are committed to make it the primary interface, the most popular way to use Shopify. We're now working towards a new milestone, to provide the entire Shopify platform to merchants on mobile. Each month, half of our merchants manage from their phones. Do you remember that Christmas Day example in Lindsay's talk in the morning? On that day, mobile Shopify exceeded desktop usage. We think there's going to be a few days like that in 2017, and how many more in 2018. Our team is working to enable merchants on mobile, and other teams are working tirelessly on desktop. This means that merchants will be successful no matter what device they use. Last year at Unite, we encouraged each of you to think about mobile. Shopify apps, as you know, are a huge part of the platform for all of our merchants. And so now, we're bringing our mobile tools to you. Merchants will soon be able to access their partner apps directly inside of mobile Shopify. At Shopify, we'll continue to enable our merchants everywhere and simultaneously grow the opportunity for all of you, our partners. Tom is going to walk you through how this works in practice and how to bring your existing apps to mobile, including the tools to make them look great.
Thanks, Carson. So for my part of the talk, first, we're going to look exactly at how merchants are going to use partner apps in mobile Shopify. And then we're going to look at some of the features, some of the tools that Shopify provides to make it easy for you to deliver a great experience to merchants on mobile. But first, I have one last fact that I need to share with you. Merchants are already using your apps from their phones. Last month, 63,000 shops accessed a partner app over mobile web. And this number has tripled just since last Unite. Merchants are showing us that they need access to partner apps in order to get their jobs done. Being responsive is no longer a nice to have. Now is the time for you to make your apps work great on mobile. So by the time this feature launches this summer, realize that merchant access to partner apps on mobile is going to dramatically increase. Likewise, merchant expectations that your apps work well in mobile is going to dramatically increase. So we're going to let them access all of your apps off of the Store tab, where they're going to get a full list of apps that are installed on the shop. Note that we want to highlight you, so we're putting your name, your app's name, and your branding front and center in the app list. When we launch, we're also going to have access to the Shopify App Store directly off of this screen, so merchants ideally will be able to search, find apps that they need, install them, and onboard, all right from their phone. We're also bringing app links into mobile Shopify. Merchants will be able to find app links from the menus on the orders, the customers, the products, and the collections resources. When a merchant presses on one of the app links, we'll take them directly to your registered app URL, the same way that it works already in the web admin. And of course, we're bringing this feature to our Android users too. So, as you see this, I hope that you can recognize when we decided how to do this, we thought a lot about our existing partner ecosystem. By and large, you are primarily web developers with existing web apps. We knew that we had to make it easy to make your existing web app work well in mobile Shopify without a ton of work on your part. We built a great native app so you don't have to. Now we're going to take a look at some of the other tools that Shopify provides so that you can make your app provide a great universal experience, working well on desktop and on mobile, all from one code base. I hope you got to see Chris launch Polaris this morning, our new unified design system. And like Kyle and Monica told you earlier today on this track, Polaris is a set of industrial strength UI components that we use to power our actual front end in the Shopify admin. Polaris has been built with both accessibility and mobile support from the ground up. We're launching them as a set of React components and plain HTML and CSS. So however your app is structured, it should be easy. We're trying to make it easy for you to integrate with Polaris, to use it, to adopt it. If you use Polaris, you are providing merchants a high-quality mobile experience that is visually consistent with the entire Shopify ecosystem out of the box and without a ton of time and effort on your behalf. We've also built additional integration for apps that use the Shopify Embedded App SDK. If your app uses the Embedded App SDK, in mobile Shopify, you will get loaded into a custom web wrapper that provides a great hybrid experience with a ton of integration. Your app gets presented in the same context as the rest of mobile Shopify, and any links back from your app back to a Shopify resource will again be presented natively. This creates one cohesive navigation stack from mobile Shopify to your app and back. If you don't use the Embedded App SDK, we're still going to provide access to your app, but we'll do it in a browser view with no further integration. We've also brought the existing navigation bar API into mobile Shopify. If you haven't seen this feature before, you can control functionality in the Shopify admin, things like the primary and secondary button and the title of the page. And you can do it all from your app's code in your app's iframe. Here's an example code snippet using the integration. We're controlling the buttons, and we're setting the title to order printer. And here's the same integration running within mobile Shopify. This is pretty cool. We originally built this for web, and here we are running it in the native app with no code changes. The web navigation bar gets removed and gets replaced by native controls. This saves vertical space, leaving more room for your app to engage with merchants. And like I mentioned earlier, we're also bringing app links into mobile Shopify. From the orders, products, customers, and collections, if a merchant accesses an app link, we will open the app into the custom web view, keeping merchants in the context of the job that they're trying to do. Good use of app links can create focused workflows, so try to use app links to surface your app's core value so that the merchants can benefit by saving time, keeping them engaged with the job that they're trying to do. This is crucial for a good experience on mobile. So, in summary, build a responsive web app and take advantage of our app platform features like the Embedded App SDK and app links. And this is all that you need to do to create a world-class experience, empowering our merchant success from the palms of their hands.
This feature will go live for our merchants this summer. But before we give it to them, we're going to enable it for each of your partner dev shops. We'll be doing this well ahead of launch so that you have time to update your apps. Look for a partner newsletter with information on how to test your apps in mobile Shopify. You can learn more about the Polaris design system at polaris.shopify.com. And the mobile app, like I said, is available for each of your partner dev shops. You can learn more about the Embedded App SDK in our developer docs, too. We're very much looking forward to the mobile experiences that you build. Thank you.
Thanks. So we'll take some questions. First question. So ask questions in the mobile app. OK, so what major features are still missing from the mobile app?
A lot of the core workflows that we want to bring this year are a lot of the things our merchants use on mobile web and on desktop. Things like managing discount codes, collections, changing their themes, and more things along that same kind of vein. These are the sorts of things that are coming in our roadmap that we want to bring to our merchants.
How can we test our app on mobile before the feature launches?
Before this goes out to merchants, we're going to be releasing an app update on the Play Store and the App Store that enables the feature for your dev shops. So if you're creating those test shops that are inside of your partner dashboard, those apps will get the feature before all of our merchants do. And so you'll be able to see exactly how the feature will work before it goes live for everyone else. That means that you'll be able to test all of your apps that way. And then in the summer, we'll go live with everyone, all of our merchants at once.
Do we see similar mobile app adoption on Shopify Plus?
We do. So a lot of our Plus merchants are using the app for its push notification feature, as well as being able to access reports This is one of those features that's available from the Store tab.
What was the reasoning for making a dedicated mobile app versus optimizing the mobile website and using a mobile-first approach to design across all properties?
So we're doing that too. A lot of the web admin works responsively across all sorts of different screen sizes. This is a combined effort where we want to take all the best things that we can do with a native app, things like easy barcode scanning through the camera or push notifications that we couldn't otherwise do with our web admin. But we can't just leave the web admin for desktop. Both of them are moving together to support everyone on mobile.
Do we plan on adding notification support for apps within mobile Shopify, being able to inform or alert a merchant about something managed by an app?
I like that question a lot. I'd actually like to hear more about those types of workflows, especially because we know how effective push notifications can be.
Will mobile Shopify support theme editing? Liquid. My ad requires theme code updates. My app, I'm guessing they meant. My app requires theme code updates.
That's something that we need to look more closely at. A lot of apps require this sort of deeper integration. Know that right now, all of the merchants who manage their stores on mobile are also using our desktop app. Interface. And so these merchants aren't exclusively on mobile right now, but this is a reality that will come. And one thing that we're thinking about in those cases is how does Shopify and the platform need to change to support those merchants fully when they're using a screen that's maybe only 4 or 5 inches.
Can you please enable the ka-ching sound when you have multiple stores connected? Currently, only the selected store will get push notifications.
We updated that in September, actually. All stores now get push notifications for their new orders. If you aren't seeing this, you can switch to the other shop, and you can enable push notifications for that order, or for that shop. The important thing there is make sure you're using one of the latest versions from the App Store or the Play Store.
What's the best way to ask users for reviews at mobile app?
Definitely the wrong time to do it is when they're in the middle of their workflow. And so if they're in the middle of using one of your core loops, that's not a great time. But if they're coming up for air or they're ending one workflow and going to like maybe the landing page of your app or the index page of your app, something there that's opt-in is a really nice way because it doesn't disrupt any user flow. And so, for example, we would do something like that in our home feed, somewhere in the feed, but not promoted to the top necessarily, because there's other key information for our merchants.
Does the merchant need access to Apple or Google developer accounts to publish their apps?
No, that's the nice thing about this, is that we're abstracting this away. You continue to build the web apps that you're used to making. Ideally, use the Polaris design system so that it's visually consistent with Shopify, and then it will be incorporated into our app, just like it is in the web admin.
Can we set a specific URL for the new mobile app and other for desktop? I guess this is in relation to API links, app links.
Yeah. It's something that we're considering, because you may want to give a different experience for people on mobile, especially if, say, the app is particularly complex. You may want to give a more streamlined flow, potentially with a little bit less in functionality for people when they're on their mobile phones.
But even if we don't make this a property of the Shopify API, you can solve this yourself by detecting when they're on mobile and giving them a different experience. The key thing you should recognize is that merchants are also using the Shopify admin over mobile web. They're not only using the mobile Shopify app. So all of these problems that you're going to experience to make your apps work well on people's phones, you already have these problems today. You're just maybe not recognizing it yet due to low volume. Related. Will my web app be told this is Shopify Mobile? Right now, you know this based on the user agent. Ideally, your app shouldn't need to know much that it's specifically Shopify Mobile. It will be more interesting for you to recognize that this is a mobile phone in general. So if you're building a responsive web app and following best practices, it should just work. Sorry, the question's reordered on me. I think that's all of them, though. Oh, if my app links to something like the Shopify navigation settings, will Shopify Mobile link to the right place? So yes, it will link to the right place in the mobile app for anything that has a Shopify admin URL. So any screens that are only within the mobile app right now, we haven't provided a way for you to open those screens. But for something like notification settings, it would be easy for us to add this to. We just have to assign it a URL essentially. Do we have any questions from people in the audience? Do we have a mic? We do have a mic. OK, so if anyone wants to ask questions out loud, if I didn't get them to them from the mobile app, just raise your hand. And
Can you talk about the notifications from the app? Can you speak about that? But the notifications that we can send from the...
Oh, you're talking about the feature request for adding notifications. We have office hours tomorrow all day, so you can speak to either me or Tom, or potentially both of us, depending on the schedule. Definitely, please make use of our office hours.
If my web app currently has Google Analytics installed on my iFrame so that I can measure my app usage, will that still work in the mobile app?
Yes.
OK.
Yeah.
Thank you. Can I ask one follow-up question? Do you have components to do charting or graphing within the Polaris framework? I'm just thinking in terms of apps that have to display like an analytics graph. Do you have a component for that? Just trying to think in terms of making that look nice on a mobile app.
Charting is something that should be easy to integrate into Polaris. But off the top of my head, I'm not sure if we have
I'm also
one.
not certain. There should be a set of office hours tomorrow to be able to access that, or to ask that question to the right people. Yeah, I haven't gone that in depth with Polaris yet to know if charting is one of the features.
OK, folks. We'll be at our office hours all day tomorrow. You can book any of our available time slots. Thank you very much.